Today we're going to be going over some of my very best blind buys that I've made over the course of about 8 years. That has been the bulk of my collection building experience, is blind buys. I just don't really sample things. It's not the way I go about it. That's definitely the smart way to go about it, but that's not how I've done it. And really, I've gotten off really well with the way that I've kind of built this collection up. There's definitely been a few that I've been repulsed by, but other than that, most everything at least smells decent enough. And so that's good enough for me. But there are definitely some fragrances that do stand out more than others. Some surprising ones that I went in on, of course, not really knowing what I was going to be getting, and actually ended up getting something that far exceeded my expectations. So we're going to go over some of those today. This is just a small amount, right? We have a lot more that I could cover in a video like this, but these are some of the first that came to my mind anyway. So I'm going to drop links to everything down below to discounters. If you want to do some shopping of your own and maybe you want to pick some of these up, you can hit those links and check them out, find them real easily. This first one is Hugo Boss Confident Oud. I almost said Boss Bottled because that's really all I talk about from Hugo Boss is the Boss Bottled lineup. But this is not Boss Bottled. This is the collection. And this one again is Confident Oud. Kind of a random one. It just happened to pop up on discounters one time, and I kind of got to looking at it, and you know, the bottle looked cool. It looked different. I ended up looking into the notes, and there's only 2 of them. It's brand and then Oud, of course. So that didn't tell me a whole lot, but I still went for it. It was a decent price. It was under $100, and I said, let's try it out. What's the worst that can happen? And I was fully expecting a very strong Oud fragrance because of the name, and that's not fully what I get here. Do you get a little bit of Oud? For sure, but you also get a very strong, prominent boozy accord, like a kind of a rum, oak, whiskey, something along those lines type of smell. More of like a spiced rum type of smell, kind of sweet. There's more going on to it than just 2 notes. You know, definitely a tonka and maybe even a bit of a vanilla to aid in that sweetness. But it wasn't at all as I was expecting. In fact, I thought that maybe I wouldn't like it very much because I'm not a big fan of really prominent, strong, overbearing oud fragrances, but this could not be further from that. Now, if you start looking around online, you'll see people compare this to things like Nasomatto Baronda, and honestly, that's a pretty good comparison. If you've smelled Baronda before, you know it has a brutally strong whiskey note with kind of this almost slight chocolatey sweetness. It's next level kind of gourmand boozy style, to the point where, you know, if you don't like the smell of actual alcohol, you would be repulsed by that scent. That's how realistic it is. And, you know, it's definitely similar. It even reminds me of kind of a little bit of Killian Straight to Heaven, somewhat, just from that cedarwood type of rum smell that I'm getting out of this. It's got a little bit of that going on. I don't know, kind of just pulling inspiration from a few different scents, I would say. I really like this stuff. It far exceeded my expectations, like I said. Great performer, nice price as well. Perfect for fall and winter time. This next one is L'Homme Eau de Parfum, of course by YSL. You know, I've had this for a long time now, and every time I go back to it and smell it, and in fact, just before shooting this video, I didn't spray it on, but I did just pulled the cap and smelled it. I swear it's like I like it more each time. I just fall more in love with the scent, and a lot of it is because it reminds me heavily, of course, of the original L'Homme, right? Which obviously is a flanker of such. And I think the reason why I like this one so much is it reminds me a ton of the original L'Homme. You would kind of expect that, but that's a favorite of mine. This gentlemanly, kind of warm, slightly spicy, ginger-based scent. And so this does still have that at its core, but what it also does have is cognac, real heavy focus on cedar wood and oak. Yet again, another boozy style of scent here with a bit of bitter orange as well. So whereas the original L'Homme is fresher than this, more of a daytime use, signature scent, you know, work school scent, whatever, just signature scent, day-to-day use. I find L'Homme Eau de Parfum to be more of your nighttime variant. You know, you could wear the original during the day to work, and then say you're going out to dinner in the evening, throw this one on over top. It's going to layer perfectly, and now you've got something warmer, sweeter, and even a little bit more mysterious. Just works really good for that. And I think those two, this and the original, would be a killer combination, especially if you have somewhat of a limited collection, you don't want to go crazy. Just owning L'Homme and then L'Homme EDP, that could get you really far. You've got all of your bases covered at that point, essentially. You're not out a ton of money either. I mean, to get both of them on discounters, you're probably looking at about 160 bucks all in, maybe a little bit more when you factor in tax and shipping and all that stuff, but roughly $80 a piece. Actually, L'Homme EDP might be 90 or so, but you get the point. You're not in a whole lot to get the both of these. They're pretty reasonable. It was a blind buy, of course, and I figured I would like it, but I didn't think I would like it this much. L'Homme EDP, another great one that I just love and continue to like even more. Go for something more warm weather appropriate here. John Varvatos, it's Artisan Pure. I've had this one for quite a while as well. You'll notice in this video there's some that are newer additions to my collection, some that I've had for a long time. L'Homme EDP I've had ever since it first came out. Artisan Pure I've had pretty much since the beginning of my collecting days, for the most part. Pretty close anyways. This one was super popular when it first came out and just really kind of at the top of the hype there. And so, of course, I had to get it, and wow, what a great investment that was. I use air quotes because this stuff, I mean, at the time it was a bit more expensive, but nowadays it's around $30 or so. There's a point back, you know, around the time when I got it where it was about double that on discounters. It was popular and kind of somewhat limited supply. Everybody was after it, and the prices were around $60 or so, which is unusually high for John Varvatos at discounters. Got petitgrain, orange, clementine, and some lemon, and also some bergamot as well. So basically a ton of citrus, a ton of fruits, and then this kind of neroli petitgrain smelling combination, this leafy green aromatic smell that you cannot escape. I mean, even just pulling the cap and smelling it here, you get that petitgrain kind of neroli smell right off the top there. But when you actually atomize this one, you really pick up on it even more. So you can't get away from that. It's by far the star of the show, but it gives it this unique, again, to say it, leafy, green, kind of outdoorsy, aromatic smell. You know, a lot of people would say it's kind of just smells like you're out in a garden or something. It kind of has that type of feeling about it. The very wearable scent for the warm weather, dressed up, dressed down, really doesn't matter. The main issue that people are going to find with this is performance. It's not a beast mode scent, and John Varvatos is not known for creating beast mode fragrances. In fact, I can't really think of one that is, to be honest with you. But they are known, or at least at one point they were known for creating incredibly high quality, unique scents for reasonable prices, at least discounter wise, because they would always pop up on discounters and be anywhere into the, $30 to $40 range, and you could get some great products for that price. This next one is Chanel Allure Homme Sport. It's the Eau Extreme, of course. I probably told the story, but I bought this basically when Notino was on the way out. They were forced to stop selling in the United States, and so I think right before that, they were just clearing the warehouse out, and they had everything on sale. Chanel's, which is very uncommon. Dior's, like I think I bought Dior Homme Cologne, Dior Homme Eau. I spent a whole bunch of money that I really shouldn't have been spending at the time on that sale, because they had great deals before they closed down for good. And this was one of them, 150 ml bottle and everything. Obviously a blind buy, and I figured that I was going to like it because it looked like something I would like. It had mint, tonka bean, a little bit of orange, and so I figured, yeah, I'm going to like it. But I didn't think I would get as much use out of it as I have over the years. And I really have worn this stuff a lot, not just from this bottle, but I bought a few more, over the years. I bought some older versions, like it's the Eau de Parfum here. They also had an eau de toilette, came out first, I believe, and then they switched everything over to the EDP. I'm a little bit rusty on some of that, but I believe that's how it was. So I have some of the eau de toilette versions as well. I'm a collector. I like to collect all the different variants and batches and versions. And so I've got more than enough of Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme to last me forever, and I've utilized it heavily. There's something about when you have so much of it, you're not afraid to wear it anymore, because some of this stuff is expensive, and when you have one bottle that you spent $150 on, kind of hurts to spray it sometimes, especially these Chanels and, you know, Creeds and stuff. The atomizers put out so much, man, you can almost watch the level go down each time you spray it. So when you have an excess of it, you know, you tend to wear it more, it seems like. So for me, great blind buy. Could not be happier with this stuff. And while it might be kind of played out these days, you know, you just don't really hear about it as much anymore, and at least in an overly positive way, it's still one that I love. Let's go for good old Terre d'Hermès Parfum version. Wow, what a great scent. It's going to be my choice most of the time. I have the original. I have Eau Intense Vetiver. I've got, obviously, Eau Très Fresh, Eau Givrée. And is that about it? I think that's just about all the ones that I have anyway. Might be missing a couple, but that's the gist of it. But the Parfum is one that I typically find myself going for, and that's usually the case with most things. The Parfum flankers of most fragrances are just done to the point where that's what I like. It's going to be the most extreme, the most powerful, the most potent, you know, whatever you want to call it, just the most refined. And so usually that's what I gravitate towards. I just find that more often than not, after they've kind of reworked that DNA 2 or 3 times and they get up to a Parfum, they have improved upon it. And that's how I kind of feel about this one. It has orange, woodsy notes, quite a bit of oak moss. You guys know this DNA, and earthy smelling orange is kind of what it's been described as for years now, and it's no exception with the Parfum. It's just a bit heavier, stronger, even a little bit more woody and spicy as well, and better performing too. Not that the original didn't perform that good. It does a good job, but this one is stronger at this pure Parfum concentration. It's more expensive, and the bottle sizes are different. So this is it's a 75 ml, and I believe they only have a 75 or a 200. I don't really think they have anything in between, so kind of have to take your pick there. I'll say I think this 75 ml will be enough for most everybody who has a bit of a collection built up, because you don't need a ton of sprays with it. Good old Polo Deep Blue Parfum, or I'm sorry, Polo Blue Parfum. Can get confusing. Deep Blue Parfum is great as well. Nice blue fragrance, obviously. You might be thinking, well, isn't this a blue fragrance too? Not really. It's Polo Blue, and that goes back years and years. It's less blue fragrance in the term of being like Ambroxan forward with that usual modern day style. It's more so blue in the sense of smelling like, you know, an older shower gel. Less this one, although still there, but like original Polo Blue, it smells like 90s shower gel, you know, just body wash. And again, this still has some of that going on here, but with a modernized twist. It's got orange, oak, lavender, some pink pepper in here as well. I like the fact that it has a little bit more richness to it. I find it to be overall a more interesting scent. At this point, I wouldn't really say that Polo Blue is all that exciting or interesting or anything like that. And to be fair, this one is not some majorly mind-blowing scent either. However, I do find it to be a welcomed improvement. Again, modernized, better performing, and overall just one of the ones I would actually recommend people to get in 2025. I would say this and Deep Blue Parfum are the two that I would definitely give the green light on. If you could find a bottle of Gold Blend, Polo Blue Gold Blend, huge thumbs up on that one as well, but it is discontinued. And we're going to finish this video off with Mancera Cosmic Pepper. Wow, what a great release. Wasn't expecting it at all, just to be 100% honest, you know. And trust me, I love Mancera. You guys know it's one of my favorite niche brands because of the price. They're usually always under $100 on discounters at some point. But even when they're brand new, usually they get to that $100 or less point quickly. And so this was that, you know, I didn't pay a lot for it. I paid whatever it was, probably 80 bucks or something. And I was just thinking, you know, it looks promising, but I wasn't really expecting it to be something that would really stand out. And for me, I was wrong. This one has lemon, pink pepper, black pepper, and some musk. So what does this smell like? Or more or less, what does it remind me of? It reminds me a little bit of something like what I talked about earlier, Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extreme, more so just kind of Allure Homme Sport, the original, mixed with kind of a spicy La Nuit de l'Homme. That's really what I get out of this. Now, this doesn't have the cardamom, so not really a warm spice. Instead, it's a black pepper, pink pepper combination, spicy kick, and then also some lavender later on, and La Nuit de l'Homme uses a ton of lavender, pepper, cardamom, whatever. So that's kind of what this reminds me of. You get a little bit of that freshness from that Allure Homme Sport type of smell off the top, just a little bit of citrus. And then you just get a pretty heavy spiciness and a little bit of a warm spiciness as well. Just not in the way of cardamom, just through some other methods. Overall, I love Mancera Cosmic Pepper way more than I thought I would. It's yet another beast mode performing scent from Mancera. And what a great blind buy this one was. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some of my favorite or most notable blind buys over the course of 8 years. Now remember, there's so many more that could be in a video like this, and I'm sure at some point I will do another video like this. And so, you know, these are just the ones that kind of came to mind first. Some that I've had for a long time, others that are relatively newer. I tried to cover everything, and I'm going to put links to everything down below as well. If you want to be notified of rare, discontinued, hard-to-find fragrances coming into stock, also, you can check out my mailing list and texting list by hitting the first link and number down below. Check out my community tab here on YouTube as well. I post there multiple times a day, updating you guys on great deals, cool finds, sales, whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.